I'm Helen.
Yes. I'm Bill.
That's Bill. And this is the Bill and Helen Show. So this is course 3 of the Bill and Helen Show. If you have watched course 1 or have not seen it, it's how to be charismatic and kind of going back to basics, because you have to have a good foundation in order to earn new customers. Course 2, we talked a little bit about your business goals and personal goals and how to achieve those. And now today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, marketing. So Bill is with us, and he's always going to be with us because it's the Bill and Helen Show.
Unless she kicks me out from talking to me.
Hopefully he won't go anywhere. But we've got a really fun show for you today. Excuse me. But what we want to talk about today is Bill and all his years of experience. I want to make sure everybody knows that he has been doing this for a long time. And it's okay to date him, 1977. He's got lots of experience. He's talked to many, he's ran large restaurant chains and owned food trucks and ran food truck chains. And he knows the rules, the regulations. If you don't know the answer and you haven't joined the food truck group and you're watching this on YouTube, join the food truck group on Facebook with Bill Moore. One of the things I love about Bill is he's got these amazing spreadsheets that keeps everybody in line. If you don't know about those, just direct message us. We'll make sure we get them to you. You can update, especially right now with food prices are all over the place. These spreadsheets literally put in the hamburger meat price and your food item is going to change. And with the mobile app, it's great. You can, boom, update your price real time. You won't lose any margin there. But if you don't have a mobile app, we can, let me know, and I'll be happy to have a call and talk to you a little bit about that. But Bill has got amazing books that are out there and also tools that are very important for your business. So without further ado.
Well, we're going to talk about Helen in a second before we get into the presentation. She is the co-founder and CEO of OurApps.io, and it's a software company that helps food trucks to be able to take themselves out of the Stone Age and not have to handwrite tickets and that kind of thing. And people can actually order from their phone, which helps not have such long lines. It's an amazing product. She has a background in marketing. She has a background in developing software for banks and investment firms, and she has a degree in psychology. So she knows all about helping you to market your business. So between the two of us, I think we got operations covered, we got marketing covered. So you guys have no reason not to be super successful.
Yes. And there's a lot of POSs and gateways out there. So if you have questions regarding those, just put them in the notes below, and Bill or I will get back to you, because there's no free lunch. If they say it's free, they're lying to you. Oh, wait, did somebody help you with some of the fun things you can do? And we're also going to talk about how you can make it fun. Right, Bill?
That's exactly right. It's got to be fun, so that way you want to come back to work tomorrow.
Yes. And you're not like, oh, I got to do a social media post. I want you to have fun with this. So the whole reason why you have to market is, and there's ways to go about this and actually see results, is because we don't want your food truck to look like this during breakfast, lunch, or dinner service. Right, Bill?
That's exactly right. That's very disappointing when you're open and nobody's there.
Right. So how often should I post is a question I get asked a lot. How do I find the time, and how do I make it fun and easy? So I have answers, and so does Bill. So we'll real quick go through mine, and then Bill can highlight. How often should I post? So if you can post every day, and there's a way to do it, and we'll talk about it, it's good to post every day. If you have a really big following, people will see what you're cooking, and if they're coming back to you, it's okay. Like, you want that to occur. Sometimes, depending on your situation, and this is why I really encourage a lot of the businesses that sign up with OurApps to schedule a 15-minute call. It might depend on your demographic or area or what your personal situation is, that maybe you post every other day. So make sure that you have those conversations with us, and we'll kind of drill down. Also, how do I find the time to post? There are softwares out there, applications, actual apps that you can utilize the templates, and all you do is plug in a picture, write the name of the event and the time, and hit send, and boom, it goes to all of your marketing platforms. So there really is no reason for you not to do social media. The only thing you really need, and Bill and I talked about this yesterday, is content. So just having your phone on hand, I know you're cooking, I know you're taking, payments, but if you have a mobile app, you don't have to worry about taking payments. They just come and pick up. Go ahead and take a minute and go out and take a picture, or ask your customers out there to maybe take a picture in front of your logo, post, and tag. And we'll talk about that in the next slide. But there is time for you to take a couple of pictures every day, and before you know it, you'll have hundreds, right, Bill?
Exactly. What I tell folks is social media, the first word is social. So social means you're going to have a conversation. It has to go back and forth. A lot of times you're the ones initiating that conversation by making your post, but there should be comments in there for you to respond to and say, thank you so much for the input. I love what you just had to say. You want to make it sincere. Finding the time, realistically, you can as Helen had mentioned, pre-set or pre-schedule those posts. So you're only spending perhaps an hour one day a week, but you're scheduling posts for every single day of the week. And then all you have to do on a daily basis is just respond to the comments.
Yes.
And keep that conversation going. And realistically, the fun and easy part is fantastic, because you're going to involve your guests. You want them to get involved, take pictures and show off your logo and show them taking that first bite of the sandwich, because those are the kind of pictures that will get attention. And because they've taken their own picture, they're putting it on their social media. They tag you, which means that a whole bunch of people that have never, ever heard about your business are going to see it.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
Yes, because you want more people. And one thing, I love what Bill said here, and I'm hoping that it shows, because I'm not sure where our faces show on the recording, but you're feeding their ego, your customer's ego, not just their stomach. And when we say that, we're talking about the fact that you've asked them personally, because you've thanked them. Thanks so much for coming out. Going back to course 1, slight gaze, look into their eyes, make sure you make eye contact, and thank them for coming. And say, do you mind taking a quick picture with me in front of the logo? Even if you're shaking their hand, or they're pointing at the food and saying, this is delicious, or eating, maybe they want to take a bite of the burger, whatever you can get. And then ask them to post. And ask them to tag your friends and tag your business. It's so important. And this, again, just takes a few minutes, right, Bill?
Exactly. It only takes a few minutes. And how you can encourage them is say, hey, after you post the picture, if you can come back and show me you've gotten 20 shares or 25 shares, I'll give you a free something. So
wow.
Now they have a reason to share it.
And come back.
And come back. Exactly.
Oh,
and
I love that.
When they come back, they're bringing one of their friends with them. So now you've sold 2 meals. And all you need to do is give away something. It could be a soda, it could be a dessert, it could be a side item. The idea is you're not giving away the whole barn, you're just giving away one animal out of the barn.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I love it. And so also you can ask them to share with their friends, family, coworkers. And we do that a lot with a lot of the food trucks that have mobile apps. They can tap, text, and share their app. It's so important just to ask. The power of ask. It's very simple, but a lot of the business owners just won't do it. They won't come out of the truck and they won't ask. But if you could just go back to course 1, we talked a little bit about, being charismatic and how that trait can actually be learned, and just start small by saying hello, learning people's names, things of that nature. You will see an increase in your sales, because the whole idea is for you to have more customers, but also for them to keep coming back. And that's one of our platform. We've got a rewards program now, which that really helps customers keep coming back. You want them to come back. So next slide. How can I market my business effectively is a big question that I get a lot. So Bill is going to crush this slide. So if you're thinking about going somewhere, don't, or pause us.
Don't pause us.
What?
Don't pause us.
Yeah, don't pause unless you really have to go somewhere, like the kitchen's on fire. Be creative. So I sell so many food trucks. There are so many musicians where I live in my area in St. Augustine, Florida. And since the pandemic, some of them are still going out and playing. Some of them are a little nervous about it. But regardless, musicians are not booked 7 nights a week. and they will put a tip jar out. And you might end up creating something amazing where I've had some food trucks, they have the same guitarist just keeps coming out, and they're to the point where their sales are through the roof and they can pay him now. But to begin with, you can just ask if they'd like to come play for an hour or half an hour and see how it goes and put a tip jar out. So you just got to be creative. Some of the other suggestions we make are hooking up with your wedding coordinators in the area. And I know that's not on the slide, but that seems to be proving really effective, because what we do when you sign up for a mobile app is we have ongoing courses every week. And I like to have meetings every week with our owners so we can continually help them grow their business. So being connected to the community is huge. And I know, Bill, you've got some comments on the city and the park and the places and like how to go about that. Maybe I know everywhere's different, but maybe you can just give some high level tips.
Well, in real general terms, if you're going to be dealing with anything that's city property or county property, you've got to get permission. But the neat thing about those is when you are able to ascertain that permission or be granted permission, you are exposing your business to a whole bunch of people you would not normally find you on a day-to-day basis, because there's going to be a lot of tourists in those kind of situations where you're at a park or a boat ramp or that type of thing. So you're getting more and more exposure, but you have to follow the rules, whatever your city is. And there could be some odd rules, and that's okay. There are ways for you to make money, even when they have rules that say, well, you can't go here and you can't go there. There are places that you can go. You want to go places where the passers-by, the walkers-by count is significant, and it really only takes about 200 people an hour, because there'll be enough of those folks that will impulse buy just because you're there to go, okay, I'm going to have a hot dog or a hamburger, whatever it is, just because you're there. And then it's up to you to increase your marketing to get people to follow you to wherever you end up parking. It's definitely okay to call on large businesses, industrial parks, government plants, whatever they're manufacturing, because they want their employees not to stray too far from the property when they're having their lunch. Right. Because one of the biggest things that slows down any kind of a business is when people are given an hour for lunch and then they have to drive 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go in to get food, and then they got to be able to consume it and drive back. What we found, especially with food trucks, if the food truck is on property, on site, there's less tardiness coming back from breaks because they don't have very far to go. They got good food and they feel better, and they're more productive because they're not worried about, about 15 minutes before their break time comes up, they're thinking, where do I need to eat? So they're not really paying attention to the job. But if they know there's a food truck on site, they can stay productive pretty much all the way up until the point where they clock out and they don't have far to go. They can get good food and they're able to come back to work on time. So that's how you can sell why a business, no matter what size it is, needs a food truck. It's one of the things you can talk to them about. A lot of big plants and organizations and manufacturing, they will rotate food trucks so that they have variety for their employees, either on a daily basis or weekly basis. Become a part of that rotation, because you're still exposing your business to different people. Right. And hopefully one of those folks might share some photographs on their Facebook, which then in turn gives you more and more exposure. And you definitely want to call on construction sites. I'm glad you put that one there. Back in the day when I did a hot dog cart, I used to work on the beach primarily. And one of the local construction companies asked me if I could go out in the boondocks where they were setting up a subdivision. And they had a number of crews at different stages of the building process. They had people pouring foundations and other people doing walls. And they were putting up about 200 homes. And they were trying to do them all almost simultaneously. So they had crews working all around, but they wanted to get them all fed. The particular area that they set up in, it was 7 miles to the next nearest restaurant. So they asked me if I would just come and set up and feed all their people, and they would just send them all on lunch break in about a 2-hour span. And I stupidly said, sure, I can handle that. Took my little hot dog cart out there, and the first few days people had to get used to it. Can this guy really handle us? I already brought my lunch, that kind of thing. But by the time that they finished all the homes, I was feeding probably about 85 to 90% of the workers that they had there, and able to feed them in that 2-hour span. And I could, on the profit side, do about $700 on profit for working a little over 3 hours. That included my prep, and that included my cleanup, and then the service hours. So, I mean, that's an impressive day for anybody when you're making, profit of $300 an hour or so.
Yeah, and it's important just to keep an eye out, just when you're driving around. These places are happening everywhere, right, Bill?
Exactly. Anywhere where you've got more than 1 or 2 crews working, just say, hey, I would love to feed your guys. What's it going to take to get me on your property? And most of the time they'll be agreeable. So again, you just want to make sure it's a big enough construction site to merit you ending up parking there. But those are good places to park.
And for the life, like somebody's building a hospital or building, and you're in a larger, more metropolitan area, that the life of that project, they're going to know whatever day of the week that you can go out there, that you're going to be there every day, every Thursday, or what day you have available. One of the big things too is, I don't know if I have a slide for this. Let me just real quick check. Yeah. So, is when you're going about this, another question I get is like, how do I even go about approaching these businesses? So I did a quick slide on that. And in a way, you're cross-promoting your company, because you mentioned, you've got, let's say, a manufacturing line, let's say medical supplies, or of mobile phones or whatever. And you've got assembly lines, and you've got people working in quality assurance, those big manufacturing plants out in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere for these people to go and eat lunch. So be creative and contact them. And if the person who answers the phone does not know, is not the person to talk to, they will put you in touch with who. And I even kind of wrote down a little script, really simple and short. And I just don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to read it. I would like to feed your employees one day this week. Who can help me, or who can help me organize that? And that's all you say. I would like to feed your employees this week. Who do you think on site can help me organize that? And first let them know, obviously, hi, I'm Helen Kramer. I own a food truck, and I'd like to feed your employees this week. Who could help me organize that? Oh, you really? Yeah. You don't have to tell them if they're going to be charging them. But that person who answers the call will most likely put you in touch with who could help you organize that, or who's in charge. A lot of times it's security. Sometimes it's the VP's executive assistant, because she's the one who handles that kind of stuff for that property. So just make sure you make it very simple. I'm Helen, I own a food truck, and I would like to feed your employees this week. Who can I speak to? And I guarantee that you're going to get somebody on the line. If you don't, just give me a call and tell me the situation, and I'll help you work through it. But it's very important to secure these type of relationships, because during situations like the pandemic, or any kind of unforeseen situation that may occur, these type of relationships are really going to help you flourish. And you're also going to be able to earn more customers to come see you on the weekends, especially if you have a mobile app, because if everybody that works at this plant is going to download your mobile app, they'll always know where you're going to be in the city or county. So that's just off the top of my mind that just came. But how to go about taking pre-orders. Make sure you find out who on that site usually sends an email out, like to all the employees, about changes for the site or anything that's important that's going on for that particular campus. And ask the person if they'll send a mass email to everybody reminding them your truck's coming tomorrow, and ask them if they can pre-order. So all of these things will allow you to keep your inventory, make sure you're fully stocked, which is important, right, Bill, to make sure you can handle the volume.
Exactly. It is no fun to set up your business and sell out quicker than you thought you would.
And people are hungry.
People are hungry, and you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah, so we don't want you to do that. So if you have any questions regarding this slide, just write the notes below. And during these courses, if you have any ideas for new courses, please put the notes below. We'll make sure that we cover that topic. So remember, without a foundation, you have nothing to stand on. That's why we're doing these courses. The first one was back to basics, then talking about meeting goals. Course 2, course 3 is a few tips on marketing. But if you have any other questions for us, let us know. Bill is always available. And our next course is going to be about, course 4 is going to be about how to be undeniably awesome on camera, because it's very important that you start recording yourself when you have time or in the kitchen. I know that seems like a lot of extra work, but even if you do it on the weekends and you're barbecuing for your family, people want to see it, right, Bill?
Exactly. They want to know who you are as a business owner. People like being able to say, "Hey, I know Bill. He's the owner of Pirate Dogs." It gives them a little bit of a point to
Trust.
brag about that they know somebody, and
Yeah.
it's just a way to move your business forward, and it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do think it there, and we teach, all the courses that I've taken in social media and things of that nature, Facebook, I've learned from Instagram, everybody. You got to tell your story and you got to be relatable, but there is a process for that. So that's something that we'll make sure that we cover in one of our courses in order to move those people that are watching you on social media and moving them through the pipeline, which is your sales funnel, and actually getting them to come to your food truck and to come to an event and actually purchasing from you. That's our goal. So thank you so much for today. I think that's all we have for today, right, Bill?
That's it. You guys have a great day.
This is the Bill and Helen Show. We'll see you next time. Bye. Let's see.